Good evening, Maine Endwell staff, students, faculty, administrators, family, friends, and most of all, members of the class of 2020. I'm incredibly honored to be amongst all of you today. Fellow graduates, when we entered the high school on the first morning of our senior year, in many respects, it was no different from another day of school. We walked the same chaotic halls, there was the same signature enthusiasm from Mr. Burkhart as he greeted us all, and it was the same Maine Endwell. But this time, we knew that something great was quickly approaching. After 3 years of hard work and dedication, on this first day, we were able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We all knew that in a few short months, we would be seated in the BU Event Center, fully clad in Spartan blue caps and gowns, celebrating our accomplishments. All seemed set to be as incredible as we had imagined, until there was a bump in our road. As our town began to shut down, everything changed. This crisis has altered each of our daily lives. COVID-19 has interrupted our normal rhythms, bringing innumerable changes, and our lives have had to fall into new patterns. One big part of that new pattern was Zoom, a program which most of us had never even heard of, yet made its entrance at exactly the right time. As it began to dominate our lives, we very quickly learned, often the hard way, that we had to unmute every time we wanted to talk. We enjoyed using virtual backgrounds, unless, of course, you were all just on secret beach vacations, in which case, I'm sorely disappointed to have missed out on that one. But in all seriousness, this virus has forced us to communicate with others in new ways. We didn't expect that for the last 3 months, we would not be able to go to Wolfie's with our friends, or have a picnic at Highland, or even just talk face-to-face without a mask. It may have temporarily taken us down, but we didn't let it keep us down. We FaceTimed, we had group Zooms, and socially distanced outings became standard for many of us. Perhaps we became better at texting or reached out to someone we normally wouldn't have. The ability to communicate through social media only means that as we all go our own ways after today, we'll be even better at staying connected. We'll know how to call that friend who is miles away. We won't be afraid to reach out to that person that we miss. The class of 2020 may have spent our last few months more socially distanced than any other senior class, but we'll spend the rest of our lives knowing how to stay closer. As well as learning how to interact with others, we learned about ourselves. We had time for self-care. We got the chance to let ourselves rest, to be creative, to give our tired brains some space. Along with that came the chance to face some difficulties in both ourselves and in society. Left with no activities to distract us from the thoughts that we normally tried to drown out, COVID forced us to face these things. Personal issues that we had thought to have overcome, we soon discovered were simply lying dormant. We had to learn once again how to beat them. In addition to ourselves, we now also had time to examine our culture. With our lives completely stripped down, suddenly we began pondering matters that we had forced ourselves to ignore. As upsetting as it is that there are still so many problems in our world, I'm proud of us for, with this time, beginning to take great steps toward a better future. I'd like to encourage all of us to consider what this break has meant and will mean for us. We're not just graduating from high school, but hopefully we'll soon be graduating from COVID as well. We all had to face unexpected circumstances this year, and I assure you, this will not be the last time that it happens. I'd love to tell you that in our coming years, wherever they may be, things will go entirely as planned. But the fact is, sometimes we'll get thrown a curveball. We've gotten through this hardship. What's to stop us from conquering the next one? I challenge us to bring what we've learned with us into the next portion of our lives. Let's take time to work to become the best possible person for those around us. Let's set aside days to take care of ourselves and our mental health. Let's stay connected. Let's use the technology available to us to do that. Let's reach out to those we care about and tell them what they mean to us. Let's fight for what we believe in and for a better future. Class of 2020, after years of hard work, we're finally graduating. And now it's up to us. It's time for us to go into the next stage of our lives. Let's do that, not by trying to forget this time and its challenges, but rather by remembering them and using them to strengthen us and to make our world a better place. Thank you.